Welcome back, everybody, to Fnu Rants, now appearing on its new day of Tuesday, rather than the typical Thursday showings. I decided to push this one back a little bit because I want to reserve that day for a different show that, yes, will finally be making its grand return here in just a little bit. Which is great because this week's episode is all about character design, and as such, you'll see that there have been a couple specific changes around here. For one, longtime viewers will recognize that I'm wearing a white shirt instead of my typical gray. Heather, I believe the specific name of the color is. Also, I'm a little scragglier than usual, got a bit of a massive 5 o'clock shadow thing going on. That's because I'm bringing back the beard for that other series that, like I said, I'm sure everybody's been waiting a long time for. I am not in fact wearing this because there was a gigantic stain on my good shirt and I'm still reeling from all the comments people are continually leaving on my top 8 things we want in Splatoon video to this very day. And I do not look like this because I'm such a lazy waste of human space that I can't be bothered to shave for a couple days in a row. That is not what happened. No.
Keep it simple, stupid. It's a phrase that's old as the hills and twice as dusty, but no matter what creative medium you're working in, it rings true to this very day. And not just artistically, either. The reason we use balls in sports is because it's the point of interest. The entire outcome of the game revolves around the football, the soccer ball, or the baseball, so it gives the audience a single place to put all of their attention at any given moment. We're just hardwired as human beings to gravitate towards a focal point, and surprise, surprise, this mentality is incredibly important in just about every aspect of video game design. But for the sake of brevity, and because it's the flipping point of the discussion, we're only going to talk about one: characters. Think about video game characters just in general. What are the first ones that come to mind? This guy? How about this one? Maybe this dude? Or perhaps he was the first thing that popped into your head. All these characters are memorable because they have one thing in common. They all have a focal point. Bungie is actually on record saying that they think fans are more ready to watch Master Chief die than they are to see his face, and I totally believe it too. The character is his armor. The Mjolnir Mark VI suit is an inseparable part of who he is, and time after time, we see that fact weaved into the narrative and themes of Halo in both subtle and not so subtle ways. Mario is so simple you understand the entire character in a glance. Short, fat dude with overalls and a mustache. Done. I just summarized the entire character in 8 words, and I'd only need half of that to tell you that Spyro is a small purple dragon. But even having just 2 or 3 focal points still works if they stand out enough. When most people think of Cloud, they either gravitate to his hair, the Buster Sword, or that ridiculous shoulder pad he's got. His partner, Tifa Lockhart, has got 2 focal points. Haha, no, I was actually referring to those bright red gloves she likes to punch people with. Come to think of it, RPGs are where this process can work the most significant wonders. Tying how a character acts and operates to their class within the party, and having it make sense is a huge part of creating an interesting cast of characters. Look at Final Fantasy IV. Twin casting is a fantastic gameplay concept, but giving it to actual twins makes it so the mechanic and the characters enhance one another. Cecil's journey to redeem himself of past sins and become the hero he needs to be ties directly into his transition from Dark Knight to Paladin, making him far more than just your prerequisite dude with a sword. In these cases, we understand these characters so much better because we experience it. We understand from their role in life where they likely fall in the grand scheme of things. If I tell you a character is a berserker, or a cleric, or a necromancer, some very powerful images and assumptions immediately come to mind, and a smart writer will figure out how to use that to their advantage, either by capitalizing on that for the symbolism and immediate understanding it provides, or by subverting the trope and making the character a standout exception to the rules. And that word is important: understand. Because to make a character memorable is to make them understandable. We know who they are and what they stand for because we can easily identify the most important parts of their character. Even in his cover art, Sonic is cocky, but why shouldn't he be? He's the fastest thing alive. He's got every right to think he's unstoppable. Link's green tunic speaks of fantasy. It immediately tells us what kind of game we're about to get into. Doesn't matter what style you present it in or what details you add, as long as it communicates that he lives in a world far more romanticized and whimsical than our own, it's done its job. I know I'm making a lot of references to other examples without really pinning down the overall theory behind why they work, but that's the thing. There really is no exact science to this. It's just something you've got to trust your gut on 99% of the time. But following the words of one William Shakespeare, there is one method to this madness. One surefire way to tell how good your character design is. The longer it takes your audience to, quote, get it, the more redesigning you'll have to do.
I mean, when it comes right down to it, contrary to popular belief, human beings aren't stupid, okay? When something is correct, we know it. When something is wrong, we know it, okay? And the faster you can communicate that to your audience, the better. This thing really stinks, by the way.